I'm going to talk about a subject that is not paid sufficient attention to, and that's the subject of the communication, the silent communication with the voice print, the tone of the voice, the rhythm of the voice, the rhythm of the words, the clarity of the words, the presence behind the words that are spoken, body language. I want to talk the language now of the silence. I'm going to talk the language now of the silent communication. I'm going to talk the mystical language of the vibes. I'm going to talk about that elusive butterfly that's called personality. It's part of the rhetorical armament which you take out there into the arena of confrontation and encounter and unfair, literally unbalanced, unfair competition, no matter how you try to regulate or set up an equity schema. It can't be done because of the inherent nature of man and woman. There is an inherent nature that predisposes, in my opinion, the behaviors that will manifest. And of course, it can be impressed by environment, and in many instances, environment can overcome biology through threats, through intimidation, through the genetic lottery. If you're short, if you're small like me, you have no appearance, projected head, big old moon face, big gross features, look like Humpty Dumpty, and easily on visual ridiculable, mockable because of the ridiculous appearance and the lousy proportion, the big fat belly, and the dumpy appearance. This is all factors, and if you're stiff, you have no coordination, no balance, no aesthetics, no vitality in the movement, no aggressiveness, you become an instant victim. Now we understand masculinity and femininity is not as easily definable, as easily sermonizable as some would make it out to be. Some that know how to prescribe, but they don't know how to describe. By prescribe, I mean give a sermon and back it up by their version of righteousness, supported by their version of God. My version is it's an individual walk. Be and let be, do and let do. Separation of church and state. Very important. True First Amendment rights, where every voice can be heard in contest, in the arena of confrontation and encounter, where you present evidence and argument for your position against the very, very ruthless prosecutorial pushback on what you are saying and see what happens. It's an experiment. It's a discussion. Anybody can start throwing chingazos. Any idiot can throw chingazos. Start the fists going. Any idiot can start off by mocking, ridiculing, demeaning, and using sensational, colorful language to call attention. If it bleeds, it leads, and all that garbage. Anybody can manipulate and talk to the true believer. No problem. You got your man going. Everybody is subjected in one way or another to cultural hypnosis. Mass hypnosis or marketing wouldn't work. Everything is sales. Before I can even talk, I have to sell it to myself. But in selling it to myself, I must ask, before I put my show on the road, where am I vulnerable? How much strength do I have? Physical strength, brute strength in my body to back myself up. What kind of a cobra do I have to back up my chameleon verbal judo? Dr. Thompson's verbal judo. It help an awful lot if you look like Doc Thompson, 6'2", 30-year martial arts on the police force, a lot of it. And then it was certainly the Cobra is very strong. But if you come in with a chameleon, a show, a good front, but you're short, you have no presence, that bluff won't sell. Like we say in the Bronx, that won't float in the East River. If I hoist it up on the flag, no one will salute it. If I throw it down on a mat, the cat won't lick it up. All I can do, if I have no appearance, I have no magnetism, I have no personality, no dynamism, no vitality, no virulence, a virulent appearance that has magnetism and power, that has balance, proportion, movement, that's vital. If I don't have that, who's going to pay any attention to what I'm saying? All I am is a man screaming, yelling, ranting, and raving in Hyde Park. And that's good enough. That's good enough because I will be the last man standing. It's all about philosophy. It's all about truth journeying. Truth with a small t. It's not about somebody giving me a sermon, telling me how I think, what I ought to think, what's masculine, what's feminine, what it is to be, especially when that individual has nothing to back it up. This is some fool talking to me and taking advantage of a captive audience. Taking advantage of celebrity, and so on and so forth. They never come with a good opposition to challenge and stand good against what they're saying. No philosopher worth his weight in salt, would ever present ideas in such a way that nobody could challenge them, nobody could discuss it with him. That it becomes, what he's saying becomes a double bind. I say it, don't you agree with me? And if you don't agree with me the way I've put it, and I've covered all sides, then you must be an idiot. There's so many of these phony gurus walking around and selling their act. They sell it on appearance. They sell it on power and image. And they sell it mostly on faked, ginned up energy. This then becomes cultural hypnosis. This then becomes an insult to what it is to be a man, what it is to be a woman. But if anybody tells me before the experiment, before he brings me argument and fact and gives me room to push back hard on him and Q&A him, and tells me he knows what it is to be masculine, he knows what it is to be feminine, and he knows the limits of their roles, physically, socially, whatever, I'll tell that man, you prove it to me. I'm from Missouri. You show me, you prove it to me, against the very strenuous pushback on what you're saying. That to me is truth with a small t. It's easy to get up and say you're God's man, pose as God's man, and give a sermon. Now you have righteousness behind you. Now you're accusing and you're judging. Hell, I could do that all day long and claim that I'm doing it in righteous judgment. Claim that I'm God's man. There's too many idiots out there, too many fools, too many clowns doing exactly that, directly and indirectly. And there's a lot of people who fall under the bewitchment of language, the mesmerization of language, of appearance, of body language. People know how, especially a psychopathic nature or a very good actor, how to control what you think and what you do. Women are very good at this intuitively, that I will say. How to control by a look, by a gesture, by a posture, by a body language, someone who they can see is an addictive personality, who's become addicted to the presence and mostly is obviously a severely codependent individual. And for not challenging and getting rid of that demon called codependence, I'm saying to you, if you're not getting what you want, you deserve what you're getting. Any question?